and welcome back to Uncle Marv's Unhealthy Podcast, my personal journey towards a healthy lifestyle, turning unhealthy choices into healthy ones. And of course, we're going to be talking about a lot of things in life that for some reason are considered unhealthy or derail us from being happy. And we're going to do that today. I am joined by Coach Elle, who is a relationship coach. Are you still a realtor, Elle?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And basically you provide guidance to people to help form and maintain healthy, intimate relationships. And it's funny the way that your website describes everything, because you talk about the personal and intimate relationships, but also from a entrepreneurial perspective. We don't think about our businesses needing to have those personal relationships be healthy.
Yes. I mean, it's a relationship anywhere that you look, any interaction that you have in a business aspect or personal, it's based on relationships.
Well, that is true. I guess we have to know how to deal with them, but we need to deal with them in a healthy way. And we're going to talk about that today. So let's first go back and introduce everybody to you a little bit better than what I did. And I asked about whether you're still doing realtor, because I think early on you kind of got introduced to everybody as a real estate agent and a relationship expert. So I wanted to kind of get an idea of how that journey came to be.
So, I mean, I have had my own businesses since I was in my late 20s. So I start businesses from scratch. And after my last one was 12 years, I had a recycling company of electronics.
Oh.
So I sold that. And then I started, when I sold the company, I became a real estate agent. And the reason that everything kind of changed and my direction went to be a relationship coach, it was because I looked at my relationship with my partner after 10 years and I said, oh my God, I don't think we want the same things. And we had a conversation and we both realized that we were in this different places. So I took a class, online class with Catherine Woodward Thomas. She wrote 2 books, Conscious Uncoupling and Calling the One. So after I took the class and I realized, oh my God, I understand in this relationship with my ex, what did I do wrong? What was my mistake in the relationship? And then I became more involved and more interested and went through the program, got certified by Catherine, and now I'm a relationship coach. And this is, I think this has been my calling. I love dealing with people who really wanted to maneuver over into a healthy relationship. I have worked with people who wanted to bring a partner as a business partner, and also a partner in their love life. So it's the same kind of journey. And that's what I'm doing now.
All right. So that must have been some sort of awakening to have you, change, the path of your life from what you were doing into becoming fully engaged in this relationship aspect. So what was it that really, made you, turn and say that this is something I really got to dive into?
I mean, truthfully, Marv, when I was much younger in my teenage years, I was always looking to see what's the meaning of life. Why am I here? So it got to a point that when I realized, became a coach, then I understood that this is my calling. So this is how I can kind of give back and be of service to people around me. I mean, in my office, I have a map of the world. and my intention to work with people all over the world and help them to have healthy, loving relationships.
Interesting. So before we get too far, I made a note here on my thing because we've had a few conversations, and you know that I work in IT, and in all those conversations, it never came up that you had an electronics recycling company.
Yes.
How did that slip by?
I'm not sure. I mean, I was in 2004. I'm in California, so in 2004 there was a legislation that got passed that you cannot drop off to cell phone recycling. Then it went to TVs and computers, and I was in the cell phone industry prior to that when I sold my first company. So then I said, okay, the next wave is going to be recycling. So I just started doing that.
Very interesting, because that is still one of the areas that for my business, it's still a hard thing because companies come and go and we have to dispose of our customers' old equipment. And you can only sell so many things on eBay. So it's quite interesting. All right. We'll have to talk about that at a later time.
Sure. Yes.
So going back to the idea of being a relationship coach, I gather that there's a lot of people who go through life and just simply don't talk about relationships in a way of saying, what am I doing wrong? You know, we're always pointing the finger at, well, you know, you do this and it annoys me, and you do this and I just can't. I mean, whatever things there are, so we're always pointing, you know, to somebody else as the issue. You made the comment when you were talking about your situation where you wanted to look at what you were doing wrong. I mean, was that something that you came across before you reached out to the online course, or was it going through that course that made you decide that?
I was always looking to see what I'm doing, but in that deep understanding of who I was in that scenario, in that interaction. Deeply, I understood it when I took the class and when I went through my journey of conscious uncoupling and calling the one. It's a reflection, helped me understand what has happened in my past, in my childhood, in my last relationships, and what did I bring to this last one. And then I said, okay, now I understand. This part of it was mine. I always ask my clients, let's just look and see, what do you think was the 2% of your contribution to this relationship that was negative? What's your 2%? If you say that 98% is his or hers, what is your 2%? And when we look at that 2%, a world opens up of understanding of who we are.
Interesting. 2% seems like a very small number when we try to say that our lives should be 50-50. So
I know, but let's baby steps to see what was that, that percentage of my negative behavior that contributed to that interaction that didn't work out.
Okay. You mentioned a phrase during that explanation, conscious uncoupling. And I know that that's part of the coaching on the website, but just from a, layman's, way of understanding, what exactly does that mean?
It means that when you're in that space of, thinking of separating or divorcing or whatever, or you are already divorced for many years, but you still have some ties from to the past relationship, then I help my clients to open themselves up to understand consciously how they can separate themselves from that relationship. and understand who they are in that relationship, and now that they're not in that relationship, who they are, deeply. And a lot of times it's just also some children are involved. So I invite my clients to be more conscious about that uncoupling and really consider the feelings and the well-beings of the children.
All right. So you just mentioned two separate scenarios there that I see, because one, if you're just, with somebody and you don't have children, and you separate, there's an uncoupling where, from what I understand, you're talking about, there's still some baggage left from that relationship that carries forward. Mm-hmm. But if you have children involved, and if you're talking a marriage or a relationship, and you still have to actively deal with the other person because of the children,
yes.
but yes, still uncouple, that could be a completely different scenario.
Yes, exactly. I had a client who the husband and wife had 2 kids, and they still live together to figure out if they want to divorce or not. So the process was step by step, and I worked with the wife, and how I kind of hold her hand to do the process and see if she wants to stay in the relationship or not, and what was her 2% in this relationship.
Very interesting. So I want to let the listeners know. So we're going to kind of today just go through several different things, and you and I are actually going to come back for some follow-up episodes later and kind of dive into each of these areas separately. So I want to let everybody know that, we're not going to try to cram everything into this one show here, but we're going to do that down the road. But let me at least, from the concept of what your website's called Heart to Heart Coaching. And there are things that if you go to the website, there's the calling in the one, there's the unconscious coupling, and you also do webinars that people can watch and kind of get some of these concepts. In terms of somebody getting to a point of knowing that I've got to do something. Now, I'm going to say for me, now I'll be honest, I don't think I need to do something. We're coming up on 21 years of marriage. Now, I'm not going to say that it's been easy. It's not. And we've had some bumps. But when people come to you, are these people that, are they looking for help to keep it together, or are they looking for help after the fact when they know the end is near, or the end is over? How do they come to you?
Yeah, I had both. So people come when they're still in that space of a relationship, deciding if they want to stay or not. I have people that have been divorced for many years, but cannot kind of open themselves up to have a healthy relationship. Every relationship that they get into, it does not work out. So it's multiple different scenarios.
All right. And in our future sessions, we're actually going to be focusing in on the calling in the one.
Yes.
And I know we're going to kind of go deep into each of these sections, but from a general point of view, what's the concept of calling in the one?
So calling in the one is basically, I work with my clients in 7, sometimes 10 sessions. And in each week, we go through the first week, I prepare them to expand and open themselves up to love and to be loved. So we go through exercises, and I give them some homework, and then they come back, and then we talk about what they opened up for them. The second week we talk about how I can help them complete their past. And same thing, some exercises, they go reflect, come back, and then we have a session. The third week we talk about how to transfer your love identity. A lot of people feel that I'm not good enough to have, the ideal love partner. I'm not lovable. I'm not enough. There's so many different underneath that face. There's a lot of doubt. So we figured that out. Step 4, the fourth week, is expanding your vision of what's possible. What can you think of what's possible for you to have that healthy, loving relationship? The fifth week, we talk about giving yourself what has been missing. So if you're looking in a partner to be very open and communicative, are you communicative to your people around you? Are you that person? So we go through that. I mean, those the items that they need from their partner. Are they that person? Week 6 is choosing to be happy, becoming that one that you're looking for. Step 7, the last week, we talk about forgiving, and which is a big step going forward, forgiving yourself and forgiving others in your life.
All right.
So it's a journey.
It is a journey. Well, but just about everything we do is a journey, and we're going to dive into that over the coming weeks. I wanted to ask kind of a question in terms of, we're looking at this, and I'm looking at this as something where we want to turn unhealthy choices into healthy ones. And a lot of times in a scenario like this, you've got people that are dealing with things after the fact. And right. We know now more than we ever knew about ourselves, about things happening in the world, how our brain reacts, how we grow within our environment and stuff. So how much of this unhealthiness in relationships are we learning, as we grow, as we start? Is that part of the process, is learning what we've done in the past that's unhealthy and how we should approach things differently?
Yes, exactly. It's all about looking at your childhood and see what in that family interaction, what has happened that you made that assumption and how you became that person. And or some people, it's the last relationship. Some of the interactions or that scenarios of the past repeats itself, and then we dig inside and see why does it repeat itself.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, repeating patterns that we may go through. So I know that there are books and resources on the site, and then people obviously can sign up for sessions and stuff. I think one of the things that people will probably ask are, the types of problems that, would be looked at. Are we talking things? You mentioned communication earlier. I assume that trust is going to be something that has to be discussed. What about things like intimacy or conflict? Are those concepts that you get into?
Yes, we get into very deep. By the way, I have I put a course together for people who wanted to have a successful relationship. It's 10 videos and a worksheet. I'd be happy to give to your, send it to your listeners complimentary.
Okay.
If they're starting to,
That'll be great. So 10 videos. Is there a title to it?
I don't remember exactly, but it's how to have a successful relationship.
All right. We'll definitely put that in the show.
Yes.
All right. We'll put that in the show notes for everybody. Let me ask, another question about, say somebody does sign up for a session. Are there exercises that you have people do, or is it just, trying to get to the heart of the matter through discussions and things like that? But are there, exercises that people do?
Yes, there are exercises. So this is how I offer complimentary 30-minute Zoom call. So in that half an hour, we talk about where they are and where they want to go. And then then we decide if they want to have 7, 10 sessions or more. Or we can extend it as it comes and if it's needed. So basically, yes, I usually have them read the book, one chapter at a time. There's exercises on there. I send them some exercises also that they can read and do on their own. It's just a lot of them are reflection of who they are and what they want. And it just makes them really think about, go deeper than just a simple conversation. And then when they come back and we have a discussion, it's going to be more of understanding, and I'm very straightforward with my clients. So we just have a discussion and then tell me what opened up for them.
All right. That all sounds great. And basically we're going to, figure out, if people have been spending years, focusing on the past and are stuck and can't move forward, yes. You're going to be able to help them explore their feelings, their, habits, those repeating patterns, and their needs. A lot of people don't know the emotions that they have. I help them befriend the emotions and sit with the emotions. If it's sadness, if it's happiness, whatever it is, it's okay to have those emotions, to allow that to come out. All right. Well, that all sounds fantastic, and we'll be diving into all of that in the upcoming weeks. Let me ask this. This is a weird thing that just came to mind, but do you have people create vision boards?
I have people that I worked with, they did have their own vision board, yes. But that's not what I kind of do.
All right. For some reason that stuck out of my mind. I didn't do it. That's not something. So before people go on, Marv, you did a vision board? No, I did not. But I do know of somebody that went through a relationship session, and that's what they did. They actually created this board, and it had, I didn't see it, so I'm just going by what they told me, but they talked about, putting in the circles of what they wanted and, doing the lines and the arrows back and forth and things of that nature. So
yes, I have seen that too.
Okay.
In the process that I work with my clients, it's going deep into to know what they want. And we actually have them write an intention. So even from the first session, I asked them, what's your intention for us working together? And then we go first by that. And then the intention of what kind of relationship you want to bring to your life. What is that intention? What are you looking for? So yes, it's kind of vision board, but we don't have a board, but we write it down.
Okay. Sometimes my mind just sticks with something, and that's where we were. I want to go back to one more thing, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up here. But you talked about in one of the steps of calling in the one, the option to choose to be happy. And I know that, and I'll just use this as an example. I was talking with a staff person at one of my clients, and I don't know, we just got on to how their day was going, and they started talking about, well, I got up and I came to work just to see what happens. And I'm like, you don't just show up and wait to see what happens. You make a choice as to whether you're going to be, in a good mood or not. And it was funny where a lot of people are just kind of like, no, life just happens and I'll just deal with it. But it sounds like there's a lot more things that we can do in choosing, our happiness and our path and making things better.
Yes, exactly. We are very, I invite everybody to be open to understanding that I always say I'm a miracle maker. So if a miracle maker knows how to maneuver over life and even walking out the door in the morning, you can choose to think of having a great day, a happy day, or not a happy day. It's just all in your thoughts.
Right. Now, for anybody listening, don't send me an email or message and say, well, Marv, what if something bad happens? Yes, things happen. You can't control, everything that comes at you, whether it's good or bad, but you can control how you react.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's what we'll talk about. Well, Coach Elle, I'm going to put a link into your website, Heart to Heart Coaching. And for people that are listening and haven't, went into the show notes, it's Heart to Heart it's heart with the number 2 in between. So hearttoheartcoaching.org. And you can go see what Coach Elle and I are talking about. You can look at services, recommendations, and you actually put a lot of the books on there. Do you have a
Yes.
Do you have a favorite book out of what's on your site there, or another book maybe that's not there?
I have actually The Map of Consciousness is my favorite book, and it gives you a map of where you are depending on what your emotions are. It's interesting. I really recommend it for anybody that's looking to self-improvement and understanding who they are. Take a look at it.
All right, we're gonna have to get a link to that because that was not on the site. So
no, it's not. It's I'll put it on there also.
Okay.
And if anybody is interested in the course in how to date successfully, send me an email and I'll be happy to email it to you.
All right, and we'll have a link so that you can do that and get in touch with Coach Elle and go from there. Well, Coach, thanks for hanging out and look forward to spending a few weeks with you down the road.
Thank you so much, Marv.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out and tuning in to the Unhealthy Podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's episodes, just the beginning. And each week I'm going to try to help you learn something new. And we're always going to try to improve your health and happiness. And remember that living healthy is the key to being happy. Take care of your physical, mental, and spiritual health. And check out the website for more information and resources, unhealthypodcast.com. And until next time, live healthy and be happy.